Hello and welcome back, and today I have something that you guys know I like, cheap toys. These sets were found at the US discount store chain, Family Dollar. And thanks to Wilhelm Toy and Hobby for giving me the heads up that these were available. Link to his channel will be in the description. These are Pirates by Chap Mei. Chap Mei has been making 1/18th scale figures, playsets, and vehicles for many years. And they often make toys with fantasy themes, like their Adventure Heroes line, which look to be inspired by the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies, a fantastic looking Vikings series, medieval knights and dragons, elves, orcs, and other Middle-earth type fantasy creatures, and even a Greek mythology inspired line. Chap Mei has been creating toys for the pirate theme since at least 2006. Which was around the time of the release of the second in the Pirates of the Caribbean film series starring Johnny Depp. Their pirate toys have been sold as simply Pirates and also as Pirate Expeditions. Those of you who shopped at Toys R Us when it was open in the US will remember an aisle that was filled with Chap Mei products being sold under the brands True Heroes and True Legends. There were several different pirate toys released under those brands as well. But since the closing of Toys R Us in the US, I haven't seen much of the Chap Mei Pirates until now. As far as I can tell, these are the only 3 sets currently available at Family Dollar. If we look on Chap Mei's website, we can see other sets currently in release for the pirate theme, including a couple of sets, which include some really nice pirate ship vehicle/play sets. I have not seen those for sale in the US anywhere, and larger sets like that probably wouldn't show up in a discount store like Family Dollar. I'd assume the price points on sets like that would be around $30 to $40, which is a bit too expensive for the inventory that Family Dollar carries. Chap Mei does provide larger play sets for US-based retailer Walmart as part of their Kid Connections line, but I have yet to see any of the big Chap Mei pirate ships as part of that line. There are other big box retailers like Target that carry larger Chap Mei playsets, but no current retailer in the US has matched the inventory and selection that Toys R Us used to carry. So right now, these 3 smaller sets seems to be all that's available for Chap Mei's pirate theme in the US. We have 2 small $5 sets, which say they contain 7 pieces, but that's a bit of a stretch, as we'll see. So the parts we have in here are the pirate, his sword, flag, whatever this bronze piece is, giant scorpion, this glow-in-the-dark sort of barrel-looking thing, that makes 6. Well, where's the 7th? Well, it's in the packaging itself. The 7th piece they're counting is this pirate map, which you cut out of the background of the package. So like I say, it's a bit of a stretch to call that the 7th piece, but that's what we're working with. The second small set has the pirate captain with the hook hand. He's got a mace, which can interchange with the hook on the hand, a sword, a parrot, giant spider, a treasure chest, and again the map on the package. So again, the map can be considered the 7th piece, unless you want to count the interchangeable weapons for his hands as separate pieces. Then that makes 7. And on the back of these boxes, we get a cross-sell showing the glow-in-the-dark feature on this set and the interchangeable weapons on this set. Here we have the larger set, which retails for $10 and declares that it has 12 pieces. Those 12 pieces being the pirate and his weapon. There is a cannon with a base, 2 missiles, and a treasure chest. Then we have the large skull diorama piece, and inside the skull we can see a sprue containing 5 green snakes. So I guess altogether, if you count those snakes separately, everything adds up to 12. And just to note, when I found this in the store, these missiles had come loose from their ties and were rolling around in the bottom of the box. So if you purchase one of these sets in the store, make sure you do have all the pieces that you're supposed to, because this is an open box. There's no plastic here. This is just an open package. So if anything comes loose, it can fall out. And unfortunately, it's going to be very easy to steal pieces out of this as well. And a quick look at the back of that box. Let's start with the first of the $5 sets. You get a 5 POA pirate. He's just got shoulders, hips, and head, which is pretty standard for this type of Chap Mei figure. He's got some nice painted details on him. Of course, like many Chap Mei figures I've seen, the paint details do not continue to the back of the figure. So the painting on the harness stops at the shoulder, does not continue back here. There are some nice little details on his belt and harness though. The sword fits well in his hand, and he's got this giant scorpion he can fight. Just a simple, solid PVC figure with a little bit of red paint on it. Here is the map from the package. There was some perforation around this to show you where to cut, but it wasn't a punch out. You still had to get a pair of scissors and cut around the perforation to get it out. The rest of the set is a collection of random parts that don't go together, which is really disappointing. So here you have this piece, which is also included in the larger set. This is the base of the cannon, but there's no cannon in this set, so this really doesn't do anything. Then you have the pirate flag, which I guess he can kind of sort of hold, but it does have a plug in the bottom where it's meant to plug into a base. But they don't give you the base, they gave you this instead. What they should have done was given you the base to the flag. So I guess to make these two parts useful and to work together, I could drill a hole in the top of this and plug the flag into there. That's the only way I'm going to get some display use out of these. Now the glow-in-the-dark piece is where they really cheaped out, because as you can see, it's the half of a barrel. And there are clips on here where it obviously has another half that it plugs into to create a whole barrel, but they only gave you half. So if you wanted a whole barrel, you'd have to buy 2 of these sets and plug them into each other. Kinda cheap and disappointing all around. The second $5 set is slightly better than the first. So we have our pirate captain here, and he is a 4 POA. He can move his shoulders up and down. His legs are not articulated. He can move at the waist just a little bit because his coat hinders the movement of his legs. And then he does have articulation in his head, but of course that big beard hinders that a bit. The parrot is just a solid red PVC piece, no paint on it, and it has a peg where he can hold it in his hand. No, there is no peg hole to put it on his shoulder. As you'd see with most pirate parrots, they sit on the shoulder. This one seems a little too large to do that though, so he can hold it. He can also hold his sword, but there is a peg on the bottom of the sword. So actually all 3 of his weapons can interchange on that arm. So you can take the hook off and plug in the sword, or you can plug in that mace. And the one problem with these weapons is that they are made of a softer PVC, which has a lot of bend and give. So it's going to take a little bit of work to get those pegs plugged into the end of the arm. The other 2 accessories are this treasure chest, which is a nice gold color. There is no top to the chest though, it's just an open chest, and hollow on the bottom. And he also comes with this giant spider. I've seen this spider in many different Chap Mei play sets, fantasy sets, wildlife sets, adventure sets, and usually it's hanging from something because it's molded with a hook on the back of its body. So we'll see if we can get this to hang from that giant skull once we open the larger playset. And here is that $10 set, and I think this is the one that everyone's going to be after for this big skull diorama piece. This has some really nice sculpting on it. No paint at all, so it is going to be good for customizing. Put a little paint wash on there, it's going to look nice because there are a lot of nice little detailed parts in the sculpt that can be brought out by a nice paint wash. This reminds me of those aquarium decorations you see at pet stores that some customizers like to grab for dioramas. But of course, those type of things can run into a few dollars. So to get something like this for 10 bucks is a pretty good deal. Not a whole lot of detail in the back. There are some snakes that are sculpted in, so that's a nice touch. And there's also a ledge at the top, so you can station a lookout at the top of that skull. So like the captain figure we looked at, this figure is a 4 POA. He can move his shoulders. He's got a little bit of movement in his waist, not much. And he can move his head. Another nice sculpt. I've seen this pirate many times over the years, with his hair kind of whipping around there. He's kind of sculpted in an action pose. He's got an axe which is chained to his bicep. And just to note, all the little pistols and daggers and things you see on their various belts and harnesses, those are not removable accessories. Those are all sculpted in. Some of them are better painted than others, but they are not usable accessories. This set also comes with the same type of treasure chest we saw with the smaller set. And it's got this spring-loaded cannon that comes with 2 of these bright safety orange cannonball missiles. And you can see how the cannon plugs into that base that we saw on the other set. And here's that sprue of snakes molded in a very bright green. And here we have all our pirate sets all together. That spider was able to clip on the skull, no problem. And I did go ahead and drill out the peg on that little bronze base to fit the flag into. Only took me about 30 seconds. So now I've got some use out of those 2 pieces. What do you guys think? Is this $20 worth of stuff? All this for several dollars less than you'd pay for a single Marvel Legend or Black Series figure? I do like these inexpensive type toys, and I do like Chap Mei products, so I do not regret these purchases. So what can we do to expand this world? Well, like I said, the big pirate ships are going to be the most desirable piece to get for this type of collection. But unless big box retailers like Target and Walmart start carrying those, it's going to be tough to find one, at least here in the US. The few that are on eBay usually go for pretty good money. Upwards of $100 for a box set with the big pirate ship in it. There are some smaller pieces you can get to supplement these kind of sets. One that comes to mind is the giant Chap Mei octopus, which is one of my favorite of the Chap Mei creatures. He's about 9 inches long. He comes in red or brown, and you can find a ton of those on eBay, usually for around 20 bucks, so that's not going to break the bank. Chap Mei also makes a large barracuda with snapping jaws that measures about 7 to 8 inches long. And those also can be found on eBay for a quite reasonable price. And of course, sharks are always good to put with pirates. Chap Mei makes plenty of sharks, and you can easily find sets that include sharks in the Animal Planet stuff at Target, or maybe even the Kid Connection stuff at Walmart. You can also supplement the scene with those plastic palm trees that you can find in cheap dinosaur sets. And most stores have sections with cheap plastic animals in them, where you can find things like this giant cobra. The diorama pieces can also work well with 1/18 scale figures like the mutant pirates made by Popo. Popo is one of those companies that makes the PVC dinosaur and wildlife figures, and sometimes they make fantasy figures also. And they have a line of figures that are about 1/18 scale, who are pirates in the form of different sea creatures. The figures have no articulation, but they are really well sculpted and painted. So if you're looking to make a mutant pirate diorama, you can grab some of those figures and these parts and pieces from Chap Mei and put together something nice. That's it for my look at these Family Dollar Chap Mei pirate sets. Thanks for watching. There'll be more new videos coming soon, so I'll see you then.